Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, the silo build. But before we get to that, I wanted to explain. In my previous video, I was kind of trying to split these up between two videos. One explaining leveling up your character and your artifacts, accessories, all that stuff, so I could run through this stuff a little bit quicker. But one thing in the previous video that I forgot to mention is your resonance. Resonance up here, this will also level up your character faster. So make sure you're using the resonance on the character that you choose to be. But anyway, for the silo build, we went with, we'll start with the hardest part, the echoes. So echoes, you level up your character, so in this case, silo, and you level up your weapon, which I am running the Nightshade, level 40 Nightshade. You're going to want to level up the character and the weapon to 5 stars. That's why I have so many echoes on the weapon and the character, because I've maxed out the stars with the character and weapon. But we will start with Warbear. And like I said in the previous video, go to atma.gg, the wiki for Wayfinder, and you'll be able to find these specifically there. So we went with Warbear, Goblin Hacker, Archon Commander, Oracle, Loot Goblin, Codex Monk, Seer, and then the Bloodbore and the Equilibrium. So the Bloodbore is an attack in combat. You're going to shoot a laser, and it's pretty powerful. And then the Equilibrium just gives you 30 to max stamina, which allows me to dodge around a lot more. That's why we went with that. For our Nightshade, our weapon, we have the Felshirk, the Shrike Enforcer, Brood Hunter, Emissary, with the Brell Storm of Thorns and the Astral Zephyr. The Astral Zephyr is pretty cool. I just gotta dodge backwards, or I can literally just go like this and use my taunt ability, like that, and that will trigger it, the Astral Zephyr as well. So really, really cool. And pretty easy to trigger. And then it comes back every 40 seconds, which is nice. Then this one, this is the number one most important one in my opinion. Shooting enemies after a successful hotspot reload. So I empty my mag, I reload at the hotspot on the gun. I fire a barrage of 3 arrows in front of me up to 4 times within 9 seconds. This thing is insanely powerful. If you don't agree with getting Astral Zephyr, the Bloodbore, or Equilibrium, this one is the one you want to get. The Brell Storm of Thorns is insanely good. It crits and hits for so much damage. It's crazy good. So, out of anything, make sure you get the Storm of Thorns. It makes Silo so powerful, having that. And so let's backtrack just for a second, because I want to explain the accessories that I went with. So I ended up going with the Ethereal Maul, the Pantherine Vambrace, and the Gloomborn Claw. I just like the 3-piece set that you get from this. So plus 10% with all 3 pieces, plus 10% total max health, crit rating, and weapon power. So that's what I went with. But there are other sets that you could go with that are pretty good. The Eternity set is pretty good. Magical defense, physical defense, and resilience. So like if you don't want to be, you could kind of go another direction with like, you don't want to be a glass cannon. This would be a good 3-piece set to go for. Another really good set is the Primordial set. Ability power, crit rating, and max health. I was running this for a bit. That ability power makes my grenades really hit hard. So that's another set you could try to go for. But I ended up landing on the Gloomborn claw with the Pantherine Vambrace Ethereal Maul. And then one of these, I think it's the Ethereal Maul, you make that with the Engineer. So let's run over here real quick and travel over. So you're looking for farming dungeons and different things, which once again refer to the wiki to know specifically where you need to go to farm for the things. But one of every single 3-piece with the accessories, one of every single 3-piece accessory set, one always gets made in the Engineer. It's just the way it works. It's going to be somewhere in here. So you're going to want to make one, which means you're going to have to farm for materials, which to star out your silo and to star out your weapon of choice, you're going to want to farm for materials anyway. So lots of dungeon farming to get the materials required to get all this stuff. And if you don't like the rifle, so the marksman rifle is what I'm using, and specifically the Nightshade, you could also go with the Tempest. The Tempest is a really good shotgun. This is pretty good too. It's basically, in my opinion, a weaker version of the Nightshade, but it's pretty decent. The Hellswarm hits really, really hard. It's another shotgun weapon that you could go for. Or you could get a Rune Cannon. So the Rune Cannon, shotgun, all those, they hit really hard, but they're only 4 rounds and they're really slow to fire. That's just my personal thing. It just feels too slow for me personally. But if you want to hit for like 8k damage instead of like 3k or whatever, because that's on average what I'm hitting, 3k. If you want to hit like 8 to 10k or whatever, then the Rune Cannon or the Tempest shotgun or some kind of shotgun is the way to go. You will be hitting a lot harder, but you'll be firing a lot slower, and you only have 4 rounds before you reload. Whereas this gun, 3 rounds, and it's a 3-round, it's 3-round burst, and you reload. And the special ability on this specific weapon is a fully automatic clip. So you just blah, 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 and it's awesome. I love it. I love the quick abilities of Silo, and I love the fire rate and the special weapon ability of fully automatic fire with this weapon. That's why we went with it, because I love the being able to move quick and attack quickly, and you know, throw down some attacks, but then get out of the way of danger and stuff all quickly. Everything else just felt too slow for me. That's why I love Silo and the Nightshade weapon so much. So, with accessories explained, let's go back into Echoes. So we went with Bonebreaker and Bloodletter. Then we went with Alpha Hollow and Eldrin Striker. Then we went Strike, Skirmisher, and Worm. And then all of these are like look like they have purple flame coming off of them. That's because I maxed out all of these. So you decide on the Echoes, and then you max out the Echoes. You eventually level them up with these materials right here up at the top right. You use those materials to level them up. And then like you go in here, you have some like this one, Hollow Husk Echo. Go ahead and convert this to dust, so you have enough to upgrade all the other ones. And that's how you upgrade your Echoes, and eventually they'll have these like flaming effects coming off of them. That's how you know what ones have been maxed out and what ones you still need to max out, because they won't have the flame anymore. For my potions, we go with Golden Phoenix Oil and Greater Stomper Blood Brew. Those are the 2 that I really like. You make these through Venge, this guy right here. So craft consumables. You get materials from dungeons and whatnot, and then you craft them. The Golden Phoenix Brew is actually, or Phoenix Oil is actually really hard to make, because you have to specifically set up the dungeon to go kill the phoenixes, which they drop the material you need to make the Phoenix Oil. So that's actually kind of that's why I don't have that many of them, because it's a difficult material to get a hold of. But man, is it worth it when you're fighting end game hunts, the mythic hunts? They are, and the last 4, like the ones that drop you the level 40 weapons, they are really hard. So having this Phoenix oil, because sometimes you will go down no matter how you build your character. There will be, well, maybe not so much if you're running on normal difficulty, but I run heroic difficulty. So I go down no matter how I build my character. But I do run heroic difficulty because you just get better rewards. That's how I was able to get all of these purple and blue echoes. It was like more of a guarantee to get these purple versions and blue versions to drop, because I was running heroic difficulty dungeons and farming those and stuff. Affinity. We went 16 points into instinct and all 25 into discipline. So we have all 3 of these. And the perks that it gives us: exploit opening, increase crit chance by 10% against debuff targets. With exploit resources, basic attacks to critically strike a debuff target will reduce your active cooldowns by 20%. And can happen every 6 seconds. And then improved exploit opening, increase crit chance by an additional 10% against debuff targets, and it's super easy to debuff targets with Slyv'r. And then strategic victory, strategic charge. So strategic victory increases the damage bonus of strategic advantage by an additional 10%. The ultimate meter slightly fills every time a basic attack hits a debuffed target. And like I said, we're always debuffing. So really easy to get all these perks to proc. For talents, the talent tree, really quite easy. Start with the tactics right next to Slyv'r and work your way up to the top here to get this first one, force feedback. So unlock that first, but then head this way, unlock all 3 of these. Head down here, and you want to get to this ability as soon as possible. This is the #1 best ability Slyv'r has for his talent tree, the Red Feast. Your exposed weakness also causes the target to heal all attackers for a small amount, only 1 prime node. So you can't like run this one and this one down here, Speed Demon. You can only run one of these, but this is by far leaps and bounds the best one. Get to this as soon as possible. And then backtrack, go back over here, go up to here and get the opportunism. And then finally work your way down through here. Make sure you're getting a couple of these tactics, but then get the deadly insight. This is also another really good ability. Your exposed weakness is now stronger, making enemies 5% more vulnerable. And I noticed a significant damage output once I selected deadly insight. So another really good one to get. And then finally I come back over here. I work my way down to getting the balance type echo slot unlocked for Slyv'r. And then that's it. That's what your talents are gonna look like. Abilities. So I put all 3 into my Firebomb. You put 2 into Oil Bomb, 1 into Arc Nemesis, and 1 into Protoclone. Just the fact that you have the Protoclone duration increased, it makes it so much easier to kill bosses, especially mythic hunts, because they are concentrated on your clone for longer periods of time, making it easier for you to just unload damage on them. And then just having that increased damage with Arc Nemesis, really, really good. Didn't feel like I needed the Oil Bomb at level 3 because it does insane amounts of damage when you hit the oil with the Firebomb anyway. So I felt like I just didn't need the level 3. Plus, I really wanted the level 1 with Arc Nemesis and Protoclone, so I had to sacrifice something, and I didn't want to sacrifice the Firebomb because the Firebomb is insane. So, increase direct damage by 10%, increase burn damage by 10%. If an enemy dies while burning, they will detonate, dealing damage to nearby enemies. It's just so much damage in such a short period of time when you throw when you throw an oil bomb and then a firebomb on top of the oil. So much damage comes out of that. It's insane. And last but not least, the armor set loadout. So We went with the Gloom Hacker set, the head, so we're getting that bonus crit rating and crit power. Then we went with the Malevolence set for the chest and the bag. So the vest, max health and crit power. The bag, weapon power and crit rating. And then we went with the Cinder Shot set for the waist. So we're getting even more crit power and break power. So we're getting some break power from that, a little bit. And then the Blood Runner set is the body piece. So weapon power and crit rating. So we're getting some weapon power out of our armor sets. So that's what we're looking at for the armor sets. And that's about it. I tried to go for around 5,000 max health. I skipped out on my resilience and my break power because I felt like I was sacrificing too much in physical and mag defense because, like I said, this character for me, I really don't want him to be a glass cannon. So I wanted to make sure I had at least 4,000 in physical and mag defense. I ended up getting lucky and getting mag defense up to 5,000, so that was nice. But I at least wanted 4,000 in both of these. I wanted my crit power to be high, above 6,000, so we got that. I wanted my crit rating to be decent. It's actually higher than I wanted it to be. I kind of wanted more crit power than crit rating, but it works really good, so that's what we went with. And then ability power, I wanted to be above 6,000. Weapon power, I wanted to be above 6,000, but we got over 6,400 out of weapon power, so that was awesome. That I was happy I was able to get to that point. And then 5,000 max health, but like if you can't get to 5,000 max health, you know, try to get close. You know, 4,800 will be more than enough, most likely. So that's the silo build. And usually how I play silo, let's run out here. So typically I start the fight by throwing the firebomb and then the oil bomb and then another firebomb so I can light the oil on fire. But I throw the firebomb on the enemy initially to aggro the group of enemies that are there. And then I wait for them to kind of get grouped up more. I throw the oil down. And then when most or all of the enemies are standing in the oil, I throw another firebomb. And it just does so much damage to them. So firebomb, attract the enemies. Throw the oil down. When most or all of the enemies are in the oil, throw another firebomb. And then activate your clone. Because by then, most of them are dead, but more of them will probably be spawning in. And the ones that are still alive, they'll be aggro to your clone. So usually what I do is throw this, throw that, throw this, and then I'll either sidestep or I'll dodge one way or the other to make sure I'm not shooting the clone and shoot the enemies that are there aggroed to the clone. And then sometimes if there's like I'm fighting one boss enemy, I'll throw fire, oil, fire, and then I'll hit him with a couple melee attacks. Because you have a secondary weapon ability, and the secondary weapon ability with the gun is to butt with the weapon, which is really cool. I really like it. And it does a lot of damage, actually. You wouldn't expect it to, but it does. It hits really, really hard, that melee. But yeah, I'll throw out a couple melees, and then I'll activate the clone, sidestep, and then start shooting them. And then eventually I'll have my ultimate. When I have my ultimate, every single time I go to use the ultimate, I make sure I have my clone again. So what I'll do is I'll activate the clone. So I'll be back here because I activated the clone. And then I take one step or two steps forward. Then I activate my ultimate. So the ultimate is dropping on all the enemies that are aggroed by your clone. It wrecks them. And then if like there's a boss that's aggro to your clone, you activate the ultimate. And then if you have your firebomb and your oil bomb, so the ultimate is going. So like right here, and then I'll take a couple steps forward, I'll activate my ultimate, and I'll take a couple steps back like this, then throw my firebomb, my oil bomb, and another firebomb where my clone is, so that my ultimate and my bombs are hitting the enemy all at the same time. And then I'm shooting him, and then as the fight progresses, you'll unlock your special weapon ability, which for this gun is a fully automatic clip. And then I'm just going ham on him, shooting him with the fully automatic clip, all at the same time almost. It's really, really effective. So that's generally how I play the character. Yeah, that's the silo build. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Hopefully you guys found this informative. I'll see you guys on the next one, all right? Laters.